All right, shoot.
All right. So the first question is the name and contact information.
Oh yeah, it's Christoph Muhlinghaus, 510-387-2946, Doc Muley at hotmail.com.
All right. Next question is what kind of exams do you usually give? What suggestions do you have been preparing for your exams?
I The exams are multiple choice, true, false, and then fill in the blank with the anatomy terms. So I I tell people to for sure understand the material. Then I'm a big proponent of the flashcards, and I give you a handout on how to do the flashcards. I think that's a very helpful study tool because it organizes your material after you process the material, and so you don't study stuff you already know. You focus on things you don't know, so that's really great with that system. So I would really spend the time looking at that system and learning that system. Um, and again, it's not because visual or not; it's just because it organizes the material so well. And so that, and then retrieval exercises, which flashcards are some, which is like you have to search for a term, and then all of a sudden you remember it, and then next time you remember it better. For example, you're studying the anatomy terms, you can take the term list and you have a blank sheet of or a sheet with a picture on it of the bone of the skull, let's say, and you want to look at the glabella. You say, "Where's the glabella?" It's like, "Oh yeah, it's here." And the first you have to look for it, but after a while you know where it is, and you so it's kind of like the exercises I do with the labeling in some ways. So I
Mm.
think that's pretty much a good way to prepare. And then to curb the anxiety, what I talked about today is that review sheet, for example. Just have as much clarity as possible of what is on the test, and it's not just open ended.
All right. Guess do you text both from lecture and textbook?
Wait, say that again.
Do you test from both lectures and textbooks?
No, well, my own textbook, yeah, and I test really from the term lists and the test reviews at the end of the day, and those are then defined of what's from my textbook basically, and the videos, yeah. But what's in the textbook is in the videos.
Okay. Do you offer study sessions before a test?
I do, but not officially. But I often, well, this week I have a problem with that because I have so much stuff to do now with that theft. But generally, I offer it, and I also have a Zoom room where people can go, a study group room where people can just go in and do it themselves, and I can come in if necessary. It's been a little bit challenge to have students be interested in that.
Okay. Do you teach other classes? If so,
N-
which ones?
No, just this class.
Okay. What 3 things would you recommend to new students to do well in college?
Well, the flashcards, as I described it, I think that's a very good tool to have. And then the other thing I think will be good is the physical part, like be physically balanced, have some physical activity in your life, and good nutrition and mental, nutrition, drinking, water intake, like fluid, being hydrated is the word. And then also mental health is also important. So but that goes together with physical, I think. And then trying to not be too procrastinating, and learn and study early on in the semester. What I have learned is that really gets me through the latter part of the semester much easier and with less anxiety.
Please talk about your journey to higher education. What steps you take?
My journey was, um, I did apprenticeship. I'm from Switzerland, which is what mostly you do there. I did apprenticeship in insurance administration. Then I had problems with my own back, and I would be searching of solutions for that pain and discomfort. And then I went to massage school in New Mexico to come. This is how I came to America, and then I liked massage, and I was doing okay with it. Oh, and in between, I helped my dad start building up a business in retirement computer software stuff for retirement insurance. So that was interesting. And then after working as a massage therapist for, I don't know, about 5, 6 years or so, I wanted to know more. And then I came to chiropractic school, which is sort of where that higher education comes in. And then that has been it ever since.
Cool. What was your motivation to be a professor at a community college?
Well, my motivation is to teach as many people about their body as possible so they can be good stewards of their health and well-being. That's really my main goal. That's why I don't teach to just teach. I teach the specific subject.
All right. How long do you recommend a student studies for an exam?
That's hard to know. I mean, if you have a science class and you have like a 4-unit class, I really technically have to give you work for 12 hours in a week. So times 3. And so I think so you want to kind of measure it sort of that way. If you take 2.5 to 3 times of the hourly unit per week, you should study.
Okay, in case of scenario, how do you?
And I actually think it's important to point out that how much you should study before the test is really a troubling thing, because when you look at data, a lot of students, they study for the test and then they forget everything afterwards. And so ongoingly working with the material, I think, is more important.
All right. In case of scenario, how do you approach a student that is failing your class?
Well, I try to figure out what's going on. And most best is when they reach out to me. That usually also gives them some goodie points, because me having to run after them is usually a problem. And so I try to work with them where I can. Sometimes we do, depends if it's a medical thing or so, we can extend it a little and have it be finished the semester later. Although that's not that easy. Depends on what it is, because people keep getting busier and then they forget about it. And then I have to be the running after person. So yeah, the best thing is communication. And then sometimes they just have to repeat the class because it's not the right time to take the class. It's quite rigorous. You have to study quite hard.
Alrighty then. What advice would you give to someone who wants to fulfill a nursing career?
Get as much practical experience as you can. So do internships and things like that. Try to work at a hospital, in a volunteer at an ER or something where you're around the situation that you're going to work with. You're around patients or a facility that you kind of get the feel, and that way you get an understanding of what elements are involved. Like, especially if it has to do with dealing with people, that's usually a bit of a challenge. If we don't know, not a challenge itself, but if we don't know and we just do the theoretical learning, then patient work is a little different than that. So I will get practical experience.
Okay. And the last question is, how am I doing in your class?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm doing pretty good.
You tell me what you're back. You got the grades more under control than I do. I'll tell you that much, because some of it is automated. And as long as you're on top of it, from what I see, you're doing it good, I think. Yeah, I can't access it right now. My signal's slow. I think you're doing. Keep up with the work. There you go.
Well, that's all.
That's it.
Yes.
Let's see. Hold on real quick. Yeah, you're doing all right. You got the quizzes. You're doing them so you get all the points. That's good. I like that. So that's the questions. Yeah, you're on top. Yeah, usually if you stay on top of the work with my class, you're doing all right. How did you do on the test?
Which one? The last big test?
The first one.
Oh yeah, I think I got 52 out of 54.
Oh yeah, no complaining on that front.